So we're going to introduce, I'd like to introduce our presenter, Dick Stonberg. And I'll just read what's in the advertisement. Dick Stonberg has been a 5 college learning and retirement member since 2013. He joined after a career in natural foods industry. Now, this is amazing. He's taken over 40 seminars on a wide variety of subjects, including writing to remember, as well as being a moderator. I've only done 5. But I have been a moderator. I am a moderator now. And it's such a great organization. And I'm glad that Dick is here to encourage you to join and get involved and see what it's like to be very active intellectually and socially in retirement. So Dick, oh yeah, and by the way, Dick is going to give maybe 20, 30-minute little talk. He's not doesn't have any slides. He's just going to talk about 5 college and retirement. And then when he's done, we'll have question and answers. Okay. So if you could mute yourself now, um, and then when we're done with his presentation, you will unmute. Okay. Dick, why don't you take it away?
Okay, thanks, Sandy. Well, we all recognize the importance of exercising our body to maintain our physical health as we age, but perhaps we don't pay enough attention to the benefits of exercising our mind and keeping it active as well. My friend Nina Scott says, we need to keep the gray matter from atrophying. Right here in the Pioneer Valley, there's a program of like-minded people who help us accomplish this worthy goal. They come together to share their knowledge, ideas, opinions, and research while examining a particular subject. Using a variety of seminar styles, members of 5 college learning and retirement learn from one another, and along the way, many form valuable new friends. Our mission is to foster lifelong peer-led learning that inspires shared experiences, cultivates friendships, and builds meaningful social connections. 5 college learning and retirement was established in 1988 as a peer-led self-governing organization run under the auspices of 5 college Incorporated, an association of the 5 local colleges, Amherst, Hampshire, Mount Holyoke, Smith, and the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. At its core, 5 college learning and retirement offers seminars conducted by member moderators. Each seminar has between 10 and 20 participants with many interesting subjects, including literature, history, current events, music, movies, painting, art, travel, sports, food, scientific breakthroughs, and many, many others. Of course, we can read books, we can watch films or listen to music on our own, but when we step out and take seminars in person or on Zoom and listen to others share their experiences with the same material, then we see more, hear more, and feel more. The learning gets heightened and therefore is more valuable. Among the more popular courses are called Writing to Remember, writing about one's memories and sharing them with others. Many have taken advantage of this seminar to write their family history, their family story for their children or grandchildren. And it's an opportunity, of course, for you to get to know yourself better. Everyone reads aloud 2 pieces of original writing during the semester. The atmosphere is relaxed, but the serious efforts of the participants make this a really rewarding experience. There are 2 10-week seminars a year in the spring and in the fall. And as Sandy mentioned, since I retired in 2013, I've taken 2 seminars each semester. So in all, I've taken over 40, and it has been the greatest learning experience of my life. There are no teachers, no grades, and no tests. The member moderator chooses the course, and the participants are free to pick which topic to present. Our curriculum committee approves the courses and acts as a consultant for the moderator, or sometimes co-moderator, who often recommends topics for presentation. Each participant gives a 25 to 40-minute presentation, then leads a discussion or answers questions for the rest of the hour. Then there's usually a 10-minute break, and another class member covers a different topic during the second hour. So there is 1 2-hour class once a week. Each participant is only required to give one presentation per semester. Usually there are about 20 different seminars offered each semester. Since COVID, we've been mainly meeting on Zoom, although lately some of our moderators have chosen to conduct in-person seminars once again. The in-person classes meet in classrooms with audio-visual equipment, usually at Smith, Amherst, and UMass, although we also meet in retirement communities like Applewood, Loomis Village, and Lathrop, East Hampton, and Rock Ridge in Northampton. We now offer hybrid seminars. Our new main office has moved from Smith College to Hatfield, right off of Route 91, just north of Northampton. The office has a couple of classrooms where we can offer in-person seminars. If a member prefers not to meet in person, he or she can take the course on Zoom from home. So that's called a hybrid seminar. You can either come in person or take part in it in Zoom. Over the years, I've been honored when your moderator feels you've given a very, very good presentation, you will be chosen to give an encore presentation, which takes place the next semester and is open to all the membership. Over the years, I've been honored to give several of these encore presentations. I'm now going to describe courses that I've really enjoyed to give you an idea of the scope and variety of what 5 College Learning and Retirement offers. In a course called American Frontier Heroes, I presented Chuck Yeager, the fighter pilot who fought in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and was the first to break the sound barrier. In the movie The Right Stuff, he was played by actor and playwright Sam Shepard. In a course called America in the 1920s, my presentation was called American Expatriates in Paris in the 1920s, covering especially the writers Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Gertrude Stein, T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, and many more. A New Jersey writer, Sylvia Beach, opened up the back room of her Paris bookstore, Shakespeare and Company, to these extraordinary group of authors. And of course, Gertrude Stein had her salon apartment where she welcomed many, many artists and writers as well. In a course on the Habsburg Empire, I presented Stefan Zweig's autobiography, The World of Yesterday. Zweig was the best-selling author in Europe in the 1920s and 1930s, whose books were banned by Hitler. And he was forced to flee Austria as a Jew and ended up in England and then the United States. In a Bob Dylan seminar, I presented 2 of Dylan's mid-1970s album. And my friend, who ran the class was really, really excellent. He was a true Dylanologist. And his name is Kip Fonch, who taught history at Amherst High School for over 30 years. And Kip has given some great music seminars. I tend to gravitate toward history and literature courses. In literature, I have taken seminars and books by Ernest Hemingway, Kurt Vonnegut, Philip Roth, and Jane Austen. The moderator usually would choose two of the author's books to read. And remember, from the time you register for a course and when you begin, you have about 2 months to read during the winter and summer breaks between the fall and the spring seminars. Then for your presentation, you would usually choose a few chapters from one of the books to read some of the passages, also commenting on what stood out for you and what the author's underlying meaning or purpose was, covering the characters or the plot as well. I took a course on reading short plays where each of us chose a character to portray and read his or her lines, and it was fun to be an actor. Another favorite seminar was called Hard-Boiled Crime Fiction, and I chose Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep and Farewell, My Lovely, both film noirs that you can also watch on the screen. In a course entitled Broadway Musicals in the Golden Age, I chose a play from 1956 called The Pajama Game, a musical about a labor union strike at a pajama factory. Our moderator had us each play the recording. I also had to give a synopsis of the history of the union movement in America. In a course called The Comedians, I chose Mel Brooks and even did a comic routine playing Mel as the 2,000-year-old man, while I enlisted a class member to play Mel's straight man, Carl Reiner. And Carl would say, "You knew the greats in your 2,000-year-old. Who did you know in America?" And Mel would say, "Well, I knew Paul Revere. What a terrible anti-Semite he was." Anti-Semite? Nowhere does it say that Paul Revere was an anti-Semite. He was a silver maker. "Oh, I saw him on his horsey. He rode along between Lexington and Concord yelling, 'The Yiddish are coming, the Yiddish are coming.'" In a course called Vaudeville from 1880 to 1930, my topic was the exotic dancer and singer Josephine Baker, who electrified Paris in the 1920s and became a spy for the Allies in World War II. Last year, or a couple of years ago now, her remains were transferred to the Parthenon in Paris to be buried alongside the likes of Voltaire, Zola, Rousseau, and Hugo. In the great philosophers, I chose Friedrich Nietzsche as my philosopher. In a seminar called The British Raj, Colonial British India, I chose to talk about Jawaharlal Nehru and his role in freeing India from colonialism. I took a course from the same moderator, Jim Harvey, who has moderated more than 40 learning and retirement courses, called The Golden Age of the Arabs. My topic was the philosopher and doctor Moses Maimonides, who updated and codified Jewish law in the 11th century. In America between 1911 and 1920, I did a presentation on Henry Cabot Lodge, who was Secretary of State under Woodrow Wilson, and urged Wilson to send our troops to Europe to fight against the Germans in World War I. In a seminar on the creation of cities and central parks, my topic was the laws of the Indies, how the colonial Spanish Empire organized their cities in the New World, especially in South America. In a course called American Isolation Leading Up to World War II. I chose to present the Immigration Restriction League of 1894. In Franklin Delano Roosevelt's supporting cast for the New Deal, my presentation was on the muckraking journalist and author Upton Sinclair. So I've taken some current events courses. In a seminar on the 1968 election, my presentation was called Political Upheaval and the Conservative Backlash. For a course on the midterm elections of 2018, my topic was the Texas Senate race, Beto O'Rourke versus Ted Cruz. In the spring of 2016, I co-moderated a course about wealth and income inequality in the United States called Inequality in the New Gilded Age. And I recently took a seminar entitled Paranoia and Conspiracy, in which my topic was QAnon. The final LIR course I'll describe was called Wines from All Around the World, or Demystifying Wine, which included wine tasting. Our participant would choose a wine region to describe and bring a couple of bottles to the class for sampling. I picked the wines of California's Russian River Valley in Sonoma County. Out of that experience, 5 couples met every month at each other's homes for a delicious dinner paired with a few bottles of wine from a different region. This went on for 3 years. And of course, lifelong friends were made as a result of that course on wine. In addition to the seminars, there are interest groups, which usually meet once a month, sometimes for a whole year, other times for maybe 6 months. There's a book club monthly, a classic film club, a course called Reading the Classics, and a family history group, which meets to talk about one's heritage, ancestry, DNA, and to tell stories. We are a self-governing group with 10 council members that meets once a month. And I'm glad Sandy Roth told me that he was going to be running for council. I'll certainly vote for you, Sandy.
It's going to be like it's going to be soon instead of waiting. You know, and then it turned out that he thought I was his wife.
So other ways to participate in learning in retirement.
Awfully hard on him, but
yeah, I know.
But I'm sure that hearing your voice was good for him.
Okay. So other ways to participate in learning in retirement, there are committees like the communications committee, of which Edie Kirk here and I are co-chairs. There is our committee does outreach, which was what I'm doing now, trying to recruit, putting out a newsletter, and make sure that our website is up to date. I previously mentioned the curriculum committee, which meets regularly to maintain a diverse offering of seminars in the spring and fall. There's a program committee, which offers social events, plans outdoor picnics, and one-of-a-kind lectures or music concerts, open to the public as well as the membership. So if you're interested in joining 5 College Learning in Retirement, I urge you to take part in our fall preview on Saturday, May 10th from 2 to 4 p.m. It's at the Wesley United Methodist Church in Hadley, 98 North Maple Street in Hadley. You come and you can find out what the fall courses are and meet with the moderators, who will have tables and literature to pass out to you. And the moderators will describe what you can take, what your requirements are for the course. If you can't make it in person, You can also attend the preview on Zoom. And we will need your email address so you can receive the Zoom link. We're going to send Amherst Neighbors the Zoom link about a few days before the preview. So you will have the Zoom link if you can't make it in person. Our annual dues is $250 for renewal, $200 for our first-time membership. We do offer membership assistance for individuals experiencing financial hardship. So we don't turn away anybody. To register, go on to 5CLIR, 5 College Learning and Retirement.org. And you can also fill out the form online and click submit. You can use PayPal for secure only payment. You can also wait until you attend the preview to make sure you like the fall seminars that are being offered before you registered. In the meantime, I welcome you to visit our website, 5clir.org, to find out more about us. Okay. Any questions?
Well, I do have a comment. I talked to Dick before when we were getting ready, and he said it was okay for me to talk about my experiences to kind of reinforce what he said. And I've done 5 seminars now, and in 3 of them, I did presentations. The first seminar I went to, I actually did not do a presentation because I was nervous about what would I do, how would I do it. So I just listened to other people's presentations and watched how they did it. So when it came to the next seminar, I was really ready to go. And fortunately, it was Groucho Marx for the Marx Brothers. And when I saw in the catalog that they were doing the Marx Brothers, I just immediately had this flashback to being, 12 years old and sitting in the den of my house with my father and my little brother, uh, watching the Groucho Marx show. And then I started humming this song that I hadn't hummed in years. It's delightful, it's the lovely, it's de Soto. And that was the trademark jingle that went with Groucho Marx. So I went online and I found every single You Bet Your Life that he did in 10 years. And so I just put together for my presentation some clips from Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life. And it was just a wonderful experience that I never, ever would have done, had I not joined 5 College. And then for my next seminar, I did Elvis Presley, his wardrobe, and it was the same experience. So I have found it just so enriching to be a member. And this semester, my wife and I actually became moderators on a program called Children's Literature. And so I've experienced everything, a lot that 5 College has to offer. And I really want to just sort of back up what Dick said. And it's a wonderful organization with many opportunities for, stretching your brain.
Right.
Okay,
Very
so we have
important.
questions and answers. You can either raise your hand if you can go on video, or you can use the react button to raise your hand. In any case, I will call on you. Any questions or comments?
When does it begin in fall?
The last week in September, the seminars begin the last week in September.
I have a question.
Okay,
Yes.
sure, Jean.
I had looked at the programs a couple of years ago, and when I looked at them, the ones that I was really interested in were already filled. And someone somewhere said that happens a lot, and I thought, well, those are the only ones I was interested in, so I didn't get involved at the time. So is that still a problem? Was it maybe just
I think you just had some bad luck.
okay? Yeah.
I've never since 2013, I've never gotten into a seminar that I wanted to take.
Okay. Yeah.
So we do sometimes seminars are very popular and they do fill up, but and we have a lottery. So you can get into the lottery, and hopefully you can get into the class. But it rarely happens. I don't
Oh,
get
that's good
people
to know.
complaining.
Yeah.
You just had some bad luck.
Yeah, not surprising.
Any other questions, comments?
What time is the program in Hadley?
It is from 2 to 4 o'clock.
Okay,
It's a Saturday, May 10th.
okay.
And it is at the, let's see, where is it? At the Wesley,
Methodist Church.
right, Wesley Methodist Church, exactly. Which is 98 North Maple Street in Hadley.
And what time are the programs usually, when someone joins a seminar, what times do they usually run for? Is it morning or afternoon?
It's both morning and afternoon. Usually in the morning seminars start at 9:30 and end at 11:30. The afternoon seminars usually begin at 1:30 and end at 3:30.
I had
And
my hand up because I wanted to say that you made my day. You talked about things that I could actually relate to and people that I knew and remembered after all the bad things that just keep happening day after day, locally and nationally. So you made my day. I wanted to know, since my life is pretty full, just getting through my emails to erase all of the ads that come through. I never get to read the paper. How much time is required for preparation just to sit there and know what's going on? Because my day is pretty full with the local politics, etc.
so you're very active politically, it sounds.
Yeah, well, I've lived here since I came from Mount Holyoke as a freshman in 1954.
Whoa. Okay. Wow.
Well, I left for a couple of years to go to graduate school in New York, but otherwise I married a professor and I'd been around for a while. I also have a series that I discovered over COVID. It's called the Community Scholars Program out of Southern California, which is on all Jewish subjects of every kind, and a lot of archaeology this winter that I've enjoyed. So I'm just curious what time requirement is usual for a course, and
Well,
can one do a course, or is it's 250, however many you
yeah,
pay
I mean,
for?
we have some members who take 4 courses a semester. I have never taken more than 2 courses a semester, but we have some people who take 4. And the courses are 2 hours once a week. When I do my presentation, it usually takes me about anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks to write my presentation. It's kind of like writing a term paper.
Yeah.
And of course, we're not graded or anything, but I'm usually motivated just by my classmates. There are so many incredible presentations. Last fall, I took a course on the Vikings. Larry Ames, who taught at University of Massachusetts and has moderated over 40 courses. This is his second time moderating the course on the Vikings, and I knew very little on the Vikings. And the topic I chose was the Vikings of Sweden.
Yep.
And just the level of great presentations was so high that motivated me to spend the time doing the research on those Vikings of Sweden. And it are excellent presentations.
Well, what's the time requirement of the listener?
Time
the
requirement of the listener?
to be prepared, or you don't have,
Well,
I mean,
if you take a literature course, usually they'll recommend 1 or 2 books. And you have time during the summer or during the winter between the fall and spring seminars to read the books. And then you choose a couple of chapters within one of those books to do your presentation on. So I don't feel it's an excessive amount of time.
so everybody in the group reads and everybody contributes. It's not a
Every
question.
Right, we're all participants.
Yeah, well, I
It's
have to, yeah, time commitment gets, for me, a lot.
well, it's peer led, and we don't have teachers, so we all have to participate, and the results are phenomenal.
Dick, doesn't somebody have the option of auditing a seminar?
Yes, you can audit a seminar, which you said you did.
I did.
Andy. Yeah. Our moderators usually say, well, I can accept 1 or 2 auditors a semester.
Can they talk or not talk?
Oh, you can, somebody presents for like 30 or 40 minutes. And then for the rest of the hour, there's a discussion period where you can talk, you can pitch in.
An auditor can do that too?
An auditor can do that too,
Yeah.
as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, I should say when I audited, it was very good. It just oriented me, to what it's like, and I enjoyed it, and I had a lot to say on the books we were reading.
I just
Um,
find that reading is a very slow task for me, the more
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
Read the
Okay.
same paragraph 4 times and don't know what I read.
Well, thank you for asking that question. I see another hand is raised. That's Edie's hand.
Edie, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. I just had 2 comments I wanted to make very quickly. As Stoney mentioned, I'm a member, I live in the Northampton area. One of the reasons that this program is so wonderful for me is that my husband and I are fortunate enough to have a second home in Pennsylvania to be closer to our youngest grandchildren. And so when I'm in Pennsylvania, I can be on Zoom. When I'm in Northampton, if it's a Zoom seminar, I'm on Zoom. I can go to committee meetings on Zoom. About the only thing you can't do on Zoom is go to Look Park or go to one of the other social event kind of things. Or if if being in person is really important to you, as it is for many people now who are tired of being on their computers, there are more and more seminars being offered either strictly in person or, as Stoney mentioned, hybrids. In the winter, January and February, there are sort of different seminars. I moderated one. Moderate is kind of a funny word. We had a soup seminar where the 12 people who signed up, we met for 6 weeks, and each week 2 people brought a different soup. And then, we talked about cook recipes that have been passed down and that sort of thing. So that was very fun. The one other thing that I wanted to mention is that I think the idea of auditing is great, and you always have the option of interacting by email with some of the other people in the seminar. So if you want to ask someone how they found the information that they presented, if you're finding the research, and I know for many of us, research is something we've done all our lives, but there's a lot of parts of research that are new. So you can always reach out to another member, and people in this organization are just hands down some of the friendliest people that you will ever meet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brian, your hand is raised.
Sure. I've been a member for maybe 5 years, and I've been generally taking one or two seminars a semester. I've always found my co-participants in the seminars to be really receptive and respectful of each other. And there's lots of ways I mean, the main point when you're making a presentation is, I always feel, is not so much to do an encyclopedic project, which I'm always tempted to do, but to actually generate a great discussion. And that's where everyone really gets going and thinks about these ideas together and get somewhere. That's the main point. That's how you know you had a successful presentation, in my point of view. So I always found that to be the case. And there are lots of ways to accomplish that. I mean, one can really nerd out and get into super detail, or one can really just have some deep, sort of broad concepts that are present a conflict that you can sort through and make sense of. So there's many ways to lead a successful presentation.
Okay, well, thank
Well
you.
put. Very good, Brian. That is so true. You know, when you're with people either on Zoom or in person, and you're sharing your experiences, you really do see more, hear more, and feel more, and your learning it gets heightened, and it is very valuable. So I totally agree with you, Brian. By the way, as a member of Five College Learning in Retirement, you get a library card for free for all 5 university libraries. And, you know, I've done some great research at the library at Smith. I live in Northampton, so the new Smith Library is fantastic. And so that's an extra advantage of becoming a member.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Any comments, questions?
It's Carolyn Gold. I don't know where the hand thing
Oh, that's
is.
okay, Carolyn, go ahead.
I just wanted to know how long, generally speaking, each course lasts. Is it 6 weeks or 10 weeks?
Usually it's 10 weeks, but there have been moderators who've chosen to do it for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Generally, most of the seminars last for 10 weeks. The fall seminars start, as I said, at the end of September, and the spring seminars start at the end of February.
Thank
Okay,
you.
And by the way, you know, Edie mentioned that she could Zoom in from her home in Pennsylvania. We do have people who are Zooming in from all over the country now, from Tucson, Arizona, Oklahoma City. I mean, people can now join in and take courses from anywhere because of Zoom. That's the advantage of Zoom.
Mhm.
I often go to San Diego because my daughter and son-in-law and 2 grandchildren live in San Diego, and I have been able to take courses from San Diego, which is great. Any other questions or comments?
I think it sounds great,
Thank you.
even though I still work. And that's the hardest thing for me is, you know, to really be able to
To
be sure
balance,
I have enough time
right?
to get that involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would see
Well-
myself getting more involved and forgetting about my work.
Well, Dick, thank you so much for coming. That was a wonderful presentation. Even though I'm a member, you've got me motivated.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So
Okay,
hopefully we'll send you the link to the Zoom for the preview, which again is May 10th on Saturday from 2 to 4.
Okay.
and we'll send you the Zoom. Thanks so much, everybody.
Hey,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Dick.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody, for coming. When you log off, there'll be a little questionnaire that you can answer.